Good afternoon to you all, wonderful people. I hope you are doing well. Yes, it is a lovely Saturday afternoon. Here at Civic Space TV, it is Women Rise every Saturday at 3 p.m. Yes, we come to your screens to encourage you, to excite you, to, of course, you learn from us, and we keep also learning from ourselves here as we share personal stories of great women in society. My name is Madreen. Join me, welcome our guest today. I have Ms. Sheilah Amaniyo Draville. Yes, I hope I've pronounced that well.
Yes,
You're welcome, Honorable.
thank you, Madreen.
Yes.
Good afternoon, good morning. I'm sure this is being watched by
Yeah.
the globe or
Yes.
the entire globe,
Yes.
people in the international spaces, and then locally here. Greetings to you, fellow Ugandans, my fellow women, fellow youth. Greetings to you, and I'm happy to be hosted today to share my story, to share my experience. I pray and hope that this is going to impact in one way or another the different spaces where it will be needed.
Yes, and as she has said, she hopes she's going to impact a life there. You who is watching us, mainly the young woman, you want to take up leadership spaces, we have someone who has been there, someone who is still there, leadership, politician, and of course, as a businesswoman. Honorable is here to share with us about herself. And right into the conversation, Honorable. Tell us more about yourself. Who is Honorable Sheilah?
Sheilah Draville Amaniyo is a female Ugandan, born to Mr. and Mrs. Draville. My origin is actually from northern Uganda. I'm a Lugbar by tribe and origin. Born and raised in Kampala. Went to school to Namagunga Primary, Kampala Parents, then on to Mount St. Mary's Namagunga, both for O-level and A-level. Then straight to Makerere University, where I pursued a bachelor's degree in development economics. Went for work, then embarked on a master's program, which is economic policy and planning. I hope to graduate 2026 after winning my election.
Okay.
Yes. And I went on to do a couple of other certificates in oil and gas management, and also other soft skills. I did baking. I do baking.
You still do the baking?
Right now, it's a bit hard. I'm just passing on the skill to the communities, planning on doing that. The other, of course, I'm Christian, I'm Catholic. I belong to, most importantly, I belong to Rotary International. My club is Rotary Club of Mukono Central, right in the heart of Mukono. We sit on Mondays. I'm also a leader in my community, pursuing to lead women in the 12th Parliament.
Okay.
Women of Mukono District.
Mukono District.
Mukono comprises of 4 constituencies, 98 parishes, 18 sub-counties,
Wow.
and 610 villages.
Wow.
I am a mother of one beautiful, brilliant, amazing daughter called River Abigail Vetambira, the one who has given me reason, purpose. Actually, it's because of being a mother and a parent that has driven me to do something more. Because after me, there is another generation
coming, yes, that
we need to set certain things for, so that they find certain things going on. Yeah, so Sheilah is, I love making friends. I'm passionate about the community.
Okay.
I'm passionate about the needy people. I also belong to a charity organization called Friends for Charity. We first did charity for missionaries of the poor, who were somewhere in Mutundwe. That was from my campus days up to adulthood. Then I crossed over to Friends of Charity, headed by Father Raymond Kalanzi. He's a very known priest, who through doing that, it has made me more compassionate about the needy. It has made me have awareness of what real people go through. I will say I have been privileged. My parents raised me in a privileged space, so I didn't have the stories of I walked to school, I lacked ABCD.
You didn't lack anything.
No, I didn't lack anything, and I think I had the best of the best, given my academic background and my kind of exposure I had. Now, being able to now come down and get involved in doing charity, I think I was also inspired by Mother Teresa. When you watch those things, and looking at so many people suffering around you, asking yourself questions that, but why is this person like this? So it compelled me and drew me to get to understand why am I different from the rest of the people?
Yes.
And I wanted to understand that question. Why is it that for me, I get to be driven to school, but yet my relatives in the village, some like distant relatives or people in the neighborhood.
So you're thinking about this during your childhood or after,
After I have grown. After I've grown and now I'm involved in the activities of charity, the missionaries of the poor, and then some children were looking after children thrown on the streets. So and the mission was reaching out to the poorest of the poor. So you can imagine the state in which they are. So it made me reflect and say, okay, this is just a sample that I'm seeing. What of the rest of the world? The rest of the country, rather. Then I happened to got married 2011. Then because I told you I was born and raised in Kampala. Now my husband and I, we decided to go and buy property in Mukono District. Of course, by and large, Mukono is rural. It's rural, so even me getting there, we first had a disagreement with him.
You wanted to stay in Kampala?
Of course. anyone would, want to stay in Kampala because that's where people see opportunities.
Yeah, true.
That's where everything is set, Nobody wants, what I've realized, nobody wants to go and start. Nobody wants to go and start where it's needed.
From somewhere where there is no one.
We want things that are on already. A silver plate. Now, when we went to Mukono, it was so rural, it was so deep. There was no water, tap water. There was no power. It was sparsely populated. At that time, that was 2008 when we bought that piece of land. Of course, the marriage happened 2011. So now we set up. You're in that space, your parents at the other side. Now adulthood has started. Now, because I had the other experience of reaching out to the needy, working with them, but that was also in an organized setup. Father is there. They've told you to do ABCD. Now I'm in a rural area. Nobody's there. I have no OG. I have no relatives. I have
to start from scratch.
I have to start. And all my surroundings were needy people. My goodness. I had to acquaint myself. I had to now calm down again. The compassion now came back. There was no church. We went to church. We were going to church under a tree. So I deliberately refused to drive all the way
to Kampala for church.
To Kampala. I said, okay, I've been cut off from the urban life. Let me fit in. So I refused to do the church because I could drive there and go to Kampala and go to Christ the King. Of course, I did it for some time, but after I said no, and I would go and say, let me go with my daughter to the church under that tree, and that brought reality closer. So it now gave me more reason to reach out and try to understand my community, my environment. That's when I joined Rotary International. So now, remember, from the church, a charity-based organization, now I've come to Rotary. When I reached Rotary, of course, Rotary is to also make sure you empower your communities. So this particular time, my community now is not urban, it is rural. So we are going deep in the villages of Mukono, Namuganga, I don't know, Kasawo, all those villages, but you're still going there as a group. But then I was offered a leadership position. When I was offered a leadership position, we were given goals, and we're given we have objectives, of course, towards empowering and changing our communities, changing your community. So if you're going to change your community, you're not looking at something that has already been done.
You have to start your
You have to do a needs assessment,
yes,
and see what else you can do. My God, Mukono, there was no water, there was no power, there are no roads. The health system was literally, I think at that time were at health center 4s and 3s. Actually, what health center 3s, because the general hospital has just been elevated to a general hospital, a general regional hospital. So you can imagine the state in which
the other place was.
Now that is when I got triggered. We're doing these community outreaches through doing health camps. We did a couple of health camps. We went to schools, empowering and teaching them, and mentoring them. We did a lot of water projects in partnership, of course, with other organizations. We built a borehole. There was a borehole we did for them in Kasao, and a couple of other things. Getting women to get elderly, reaching out to them, giving them the basics that they don't have. But the one that was most impactful, of course, was the health camps that we would do. Those ones were really personal because they could not even afford Panadol. So that gave me now a bigger picture, and say, because we would do projects all over the districts. So I now had access to the district and understanding the issues
of the ground people.
Of the ground people. Because it doesn't make sense for you to be the only one who's
upright,
well-to-do and upright. Because I could easily drive to St. Catherine Hospital, because there'll be no hospital there's no pediatric hospital in Mukono that you would take, your child to, your child for treatment. Or the nearest I would do was Namugongo. It would be hectic for me. Hectic, because you're driving over 10 kilometers on Maram Road to go and look for a health center in the middle of the night. That for me, that bothered me. So it kept, whenever anything would happen, I would say, what is the least person experiencing?
And what can I do
to change and impact my community? And of course, coupled with my academic background, which was development economics, and of course at that point you're just studying because it's the norm. Then you go to the white collar jobs. Of course, yes, I went to I first started my work at Goodman International. It was a pharmaceutical company. Then I went to Total Uganda. It was also a oil and gas. So it explains why I was now trying to go through the training of the deeper training of oil and gas, because there was now the time for exploration. By the time of work, I was corporate. No wonder when I went to politics, told me you have to become corporate.
And of course, right from there, Honorable, you will take us through your leadership journey. When do you begin leadership? Of course, you've mentioned through Rotary, but then we want to focus more on your political journey, leadership in politics.
So while I was still at the university, and when I had just finished the university, there was an interesting program that came up, and they wanted to train young people. It was an organization called Forum for Women in Democracy, Forward.
Yes.
So I like doing new things. I like adding value to myself. That's why I'll do each and everything. You never know when it comes in handy. And right now, now is when I see everything has come in handy.
Yes.
The soft skills, the leadership training, the academic and the work experience. So I got my thorough leadership training from Forum for Women in Democracy. My cohort, I remember we went through that cohort. The person I remember vividly who has taken that road and is successful is Anite. Evelyn Anite.
Okay.
Yes, Evelyn Anite. So for her, after that training, because we had to go to a certain space for some time. So we went there, and after the training, they asked you, so what next? They have given you public speaking, skills, they've taught you emotional intelligence. And for me at that time, I was still corporate. So for her, she's like, no, I'm going straight to politics.
Okay.
Okay. Now at that time, I didn't have a, I didn't have a I wasn't yet married, so I didn't have a constituency. Like, Kampala, what am I going to do? I was
What will
at
I do?
Nabida.
Kampala.
I was looking at, I hadn't yet identified a space where I was going to. But then those skills helped me now when I went to these organizations, the Rotary International, where immediately, the moment I joined Rotary like this, they gave me responsibility of leadership. I had to apply the other skills that they taught me into this space. That is when I now fully started my leadership in an area which eventually turned out to be my choice to actually do real politics or real application of what I learned, which was development economics. Because development economics, we're dealing with we're dealing with a third world country that we want to develop, and you start from the smallest unit, which is the communities. And now this is a rural community that I would want to be part and parcel of the engagement process, to see that we actually develop, while other people are also doing the same in other areas. So now this is my space where I'm going to apply what I've been trained to do.
And Honorable, you mentioned you went through a training, leadership training. What are some of the skills you think you picked from that training that have made you what you are now?
Public speaking. Mussolini trained us in public speaking. You cannot be a leader if you cannot speak, because it's from speaking that you're going to communicate. It's from speaking that you're going to advocate. It's from speaking that you're going to sensitize. It's from speaking that you're going to lobby. It's from speaking that you are going to articulate your issues. It's from speaking that you're going to create engagements. Because leadership, it requires you to be involved with the different stakeholders, from the cultural leaders, the religious leaders, the local people, the local leadership, and of course the central leadership. Because if you're going to lobby, understand this, talk to these people, then do the network, then go to the next level of engagement. Now that is where I said there is a breakdown. There's a breakdown in the chain. Someone is not taking these thoughts to the right place. Why is it that Mukono right now, 2025, the areas that don't have power? Why is it that Mukono 2025, the Katosi water project passes through our district, Mukono South, but there is no piped water?
Mukono is just near here.
Exactly.
Because when you talk
That's
about
the irony.
power, Arua, your home district,
Yes,
have just gotten,
just got
yes.
power after 36.
Now you're talking of Mukono, which is just here, just after Kampala. Well, where is the
realities are people are taking water with animals. That's unsafe water, and it's very sad, very sad. So then those are the questions I ask: who is supposed to do what? Who is not doing their job? What is happening? Where is the breakdown in the chain of development?
And if this is happening, to a district that is so close
to the city.
Yes. What about, the
far areas, Bukedia, Budaka, all those areas. But it all comes down to leadership.
Leadership.
It's a leader who's going to identify the problems, amplify them, project them, cause awareness, and something will be done. That's the role of a leader. That is why there is representation in every district in Uganda in the House, so that we have discussions on how to go about with the budgeting, so that we are included in the budget. Some of the critical things are included in the budget. So the lack of leadership for me is what I can give as a reason as to why Mukono, that is so next to the city.
To the city.
You cannot tell me that Kampala or Wakiso or Chadondo has lobbied for water. because of course I think there was the reduction of water levels or something, water supply in the city. I'm aware because my parents also got affected sometimes. So there was a time where there was rationing of water and blah blah blah. Now they had to lobby for a project. The project source is from my district,
And
Mukono South, but we have no piped water.
oh God.
Yeah, we have no
you
piped water.
you mentioned it's all because of leadership. We
So,
have leaders.
If
We have
they have
people who have
negotiated
been
a
there.
project, definitely they have involved the leadership of Mukono, that we're bringing a project here. You as leaders, you have to be able to position yourselves. How do we partake of this? How do we tap into this opportunity to make sure that our communities benefit, our people benefit? Because these development projects come and they're supposed to benefit the source.
Yes.
We are the host. Why don't we have piped water?
True.
That's a very big because we're suffering with issues of public health diseases, which can be prevented. So now the people, right now as I speak, Madreen, if you want, you can go down to Mpata, Mpunge, down there.
There's
People
no water.
are taking water with animals.
Right from there, Honorable, you're aspiring to lead the women in Mukono District. What do you think is so different from you coming and then the people who have been there? You still talk of these issues affecting people in Mukono, which is so close to the city. What makes you different from the people who have been there, and what are you hoping to bring to the people of Mukono?
What makes me different is, one, I'm in touch with the district or the electoral space, the jurisdiction that I want to represent. Most leaders, especially in rural districts, most leaders don't sleep in the constituencies.
Ah, yes.
That's a very big problem.
True.
So you can never have a day-to-day
You
experience.
only come
with
to
whether
visit.
You only come to
and
visit.
yes.
You only come to stay there a short while, then you go back to your Kampala. Because currently the leader who is there and the previous one, they were all staying in Kampala. So they don't see these issues on a daily. They don't go through the district to say, my God, they're trying to work on this road, the dust is too much, the humps are there, there's so much unsafe issues. When are they going to raise those issues? Because yesterday a certain border died. Some road constructions that are happening somewhere in Nakabago. So these road constructors, of course, they're careless. One of the roles of a leader is to do monitoring and supervision. So if you're not there to see
what is
happening, are you going to know the issues? So these people sometimes take advantage of the reluctancy of leadership.
Yeah,
without having any pressure there. So they do whatever they want.
When you talk about
and
these leaders,
there's breach of
yes.
contracts. So that boy died.
Oh.
And one life lost, and that's a young boy. Because of course the boda industry is mainly occupied by young people. Now, of course, they will call you, Barry, you give Mabugo, but and the next person, go and tell that Starling that, excuse me, the terms and conditions of the contract is to make sure you keep safety for the pedestrians, put options while you're constructing. These things are there in developed countries. Yes. You can never even know that there's some construction taking place because they put safety of the people first. But my friend, Madreen, leaders are detached from the roles they're supposed to do. It has become more of an employment opportunity, a money-making venture. It has become more of because certainly most of these areas, not so many people are educated from there. And for you to be an MP, you must be of a certain level of education. There are not so many people in, like, you'll be shocked in Mukono that they're not educated. You know, the natives, the locals, not so many qualify. Because you realize that in the past, we used to have issues of members of parliament having issues with their academic credentials. So all those have been issues affecting that type of leadership that we get at the end of the day. then the civilians or the electorates also are not aware of their roles and their rights. They literally think the leaders are the bosses. Remember, also the leaders don't know what they're supposed to do. They don't even know how to analyze issues. They don't know how to table issues. You've seen the parliament, the 11th parliament. Not all of them know how to table issues, to conceptualize things, you know. And then you find a dysfunctional system breakdown, and you don't know where to begin from. They don't know where to start. They don't know how to even create a bill for it to be for it to be an act, to be embodied. You know, all this, they don't. There's no training. So what makes me different is I've got the training. I stay in the district.
Yes.
There is that. You're very. You're close and personal, and you have a certain understanding and feel of the area. It is not for the money.
It is part of you.
It is for wanting to make a difference, wanting to create a difference and make sure that we get what everyone deserves. In fact, I'm one of the people who wants. I wish they could just reduce the salaries of MPs. Honestly speaking, because now the local leaders do much more.
True.
They do much more. That the chairman does a lot more. The chairman knows the people who live in his area. Knows the problems that are happening.
And I think they're only paid when they
10,000.
go for.
They are paid 10,000
a month.
And this money comes late.
Yeah.
What can 10,000 do for you for all these years?
Nothing.
When you have a family and you have to traverse the whole village, bury here, bury there. Whereas MPs, we get a lot of a bigger salary, and then don't table other people's issues. We don't even do a proper job of budget approval.
You only appear, come back
it.
During time of campaigns.
Then we come back time of campaigns. Then we are not focusing on the issues that are going to take the country forward. We have a big question of unemployment. We have a big ghost of the youth. What are we going to do about this? It's a ticking time bomb. And now we are giving birth. Who is supposed to give these solutions? It's supposed to be the leadership. Leadership is supposed to guide, give direction, give vision. So, of course, I'm a better candidate because I'm also qualified for the job. Two, I'm interested and I take part in the activities that happen in the district, and I speak.
Public speaking.
I speak, not only public speaking,
yes,
but I will not keep quiet.
You will not keep quiet if you see something wrong. Yes. There
is talking that is political. You're trying to. There's politicking, but then there is actually having an agenda, and you're agenda driven. You know, you find that many members of parliament sit, but there are many issues that you can talk about. There's so much you can comment about the UNEB curriculums that have just changed. But you see, they're sitting in parliament, they're talking about that, and they're a handful of people. But the people who are voting for you are suffering these consequences of not clarifying some things. Yet you're supposed to bring your contribution from that area
to them.
And then we incorporate it in the general outlook of the sector. So we need leadership. If we're going to take this country forward and actually have meaningful development and have impactful development that is going to be implemented, we need leaders who are movers, who are doers, who are hands-on. We need leaders who are going to speak issues and have an agenda. We need leaders who will, there is so much to talk about.
There's so much to talk about.
In my area, of course, the leader does not talk. I mean, all the records are there in Parliament, in the hands, and there's
nothing.
Nowhere. They usually release those reports. They release those reports of the performance of leaders, and the results speak for themselves.
Yes.
Even back in the community, because you're not there, you're not able to talk. There's so many spaces where leaders can go and talk. I have seen people before us, the Miriam Matembes, they have not stopped talking up to now.
Up to now.
The Salam Musumbas, they've not stopped talking up to now. Now, how about with the young people who have
Yes.
occupied those spaces? Because I'm aware it's many young women who have occupied those parliamentary seats. But what are they saying? Why is it that on programs like Frontline, we are only seeing a panel of men?
Yeah.
For me, that thing, it really puts me off. Why? They've created spaces for women
But
in
we are not
leadership
using
to
them.
take part in the critical decision making of the country. But sometimes decisions are made on such panels. When you're exchanging ideas, when you're debating about something, of course the government is watching. They'll pick one or two things from such discussions. Where are you in the committees? In
But
the
Honorable, we
parliamentary
have the
committees?
affirmative action. We have
We're not
a
using it
big
well.
number of women, representatives in the parliament.
There is
We have
representation,
big
but
positions
what is
being
the impact?
the impact.
What is the impact of that representation?
We have the prime minister. We have the vice president. The speaker is a woman. Where is the problem?
Why are the women still poor? Me, I think, I believe that yes, those spaces are there, but I think when we reach there, we forget, we get swallowed up into everything that is going on, and we forget to project the gender issue, the female issue, the woman issue. We forget, and then we'll just say, oh yes, let the school curriculum program, let it change, let people register when they're in S3, and then by the time they reach S4, if a girl child is pregnant, but you're involved in that decision making. Okay, the marriage bill that is coming up, why is it still in the shelves? For crying out loud, this is what affects women. Why? The minimum wage
bill.
Many of these casual workers are women. Why aren't we pushing for it? You've seen there are many single women these days. There are many women who are going for these casual jobs outside the country.
Yes.
How are we protecting them? They go, their monies are eating,
Young
they come
girls
back
dropping
here.
out of school.
Young girls dropping out of school, pregnancies. You guys, the population, the demographics show that women are much, much, much more. They've given us those spaces. Why
aren't we using these spaces?
And good enough, in every sector, there is space.
True.
To incorporate the gender issue. Because it is by default these days. But do we understand? The issue of climate change right now, my goodness. How have we brought the women on job? What have you done? So we get lost in the entire political jungle and a lot of diversions here and there, and we fail to capitalize on the fact that we've taken up these positions. And of course, as mothers, I believe we are the best planners.
True.
Margaret Thatcher, kind of my iron lady. That's I look at her story of how she ruled England, Britain, and I'm inspired. And she says,
Honorable,
any woman who knows the running of a home
is
ready and knows how to run a country, because the issues of a home,
they're
the same. But we're not taking advantage.
Planning.
We need more sensitization. We need more capacity building for women leaders. Women leaders need to really be trained again.
Which women leaders do you look up to in Ugandan politics?
Honestly, I'll look up to the old cadres, the Winnie Kizas, the Byanyimas, the Matembes. All these are honorables.
Yes.
The Salamu Sumbas. Maybe in my category now, in my era, we're not so many. It's sad that we've not learned from our mothers. We've not learned from them. Those women were warriors.
Yeah.
We're not
and up to now, they are still
There's
doing.
Betty Namboze. a very vocal person. You see the people who have tried, but they cannot fight for this alone. We need
We all need to come together.
We all need to come together. We all need this other grassroots leadership to come together and be strategic. Actually, the word is to women, we need to be more strategic. Because now they've positioned us. But what is the impact of those positions? We need to make meaningful sense out of them before the tides change. Because right now the boy child is now fighting for the same space we've been fighting for, but have we fully maximized it?
No.
So, and you know, when the boys start fighting, they will fight. And before you know it, they have slashed the...
Yes.
What are those points that go to the university? Did they remove them?
No, they're still there.
They're still there?
It's
but
still there.
Before you know it, they're going to say now, everyone is
scrap
equal.
it off.
My friend, we have a long way to go.
I don't know, but next weekend is the Women's Day. But the theme for this year is for all women and girls, rights, equality, and empowerment. And now the seat that you want to come to is, to represent the women in Mukono District. What do you think can, empower these women, or how can you, an individual, of course, but also the government, how can the government empower and support women? You also mentioned women, have many single mothers, and many of them are casual laborers. Yes. How do we support these women?
That is a very, very important question. And it's broad.
Yeah.
It's really broad, but we need to start from the basics again. To bring a change into women, we don't need to make it complex. We need to start from the basics,
Yes.
like equipping them with basic skills. That one is very important.
Very.
As much as there's free education, but that education, there's no translation of the skills you get from there into the reality.
Yes, yeah.
Because ideally, if someone has gone through school, probably say up to S4 or S6, you should be able to be independent and come up with something, start something. You don't have to wait to go to university for you to think you're going to be useful or doing something meaningful. So there's a lot of skilling that I would advocate for women. Women want to work. Women want something to do, but the how is what they don't have.
That's the question, yeah.
You'll find a woman in the village, they have inherited land from their forefathers. There's so much acreage of land, but she doesn't know the rights, and she doesn't know what to do with that land.
So she's not able to do anything with it.
And yet, with this sense, with this capacity building, you create awareness and open up their minds into a world of possibilities. Tell them, plant trees.
Yeah.
Do a collaboration with NFA. Give them to plant trees as they preserve their land, to avoid these issues of land grabbing and chasing away women from their land. If they do certain useful activities there, they'll be able to defend themselves and be able to defend and fend for their families. So a lot of skilling, a lot of capacity building, a lot of sensitization, especially with laws, or with laws that can help them go through life, like the Succession Act. We need to popularize it. Wouldn't be having cases in court if women were well conversant with some of these laws that are supposed to protect them. So women need to be empowered to know their roles and their rights, and it's the duty of these women leaders or leadership or governance to make sure this is transferred to the wananchi, to the real, to the final to the final user, if I may, for lack of a better word. So, and then there is need to teach them. It's one thing to give them money, but it's important to teach them
how to manage it,
how to make it,
yes,
how to manage it, how to grow it, how to maintain it. This issue of having a one-size-fits-all does not work.
Because there is the presidential initiative, the skilling.
Now, that is where some of these programs or projects die from inception. There's been so many programs and projects for poverty alleviation.
Yes.
Why is it 40 years down the road
It's still the same.
poor? Why is it that the president is having tours and looking at goods?
The PDM trouble.
With that was a late moment.
Yeah.
With accessibility to technology, to the rest of so many opportunities of benchmarking, even from the neighboring countries like Rwanda, and there's so much that we can do to empower these women. It's now an IT era.
Yeah.
Are you sure these 52? Okay, there's a campaign we are running of 52% block votes for campaigning. We want to rally women because we are the majority. We are the ones who vote.
Yes. Yeah.
But we want to make sure that they know what exactly they're voting for. What policies, what agenda are they voting for? They need to understand that a vote means development for them. A vote means transformation for them. A vote means a change of life for them. A vote means the child is going to get to get quality education. A vote means the taxes you're going to pay are actually going to be used. Your vote means you will get accountability. It shouldn't just be, vote
for someone
then run on promises, and then you're not even empowered enough to stand and say, but you, woman MP of Mukono, we voted you 5 years. What have you done? Other countries have 4 years, but you have 5 years. What are the tangible things that you've done? The other issue is to most of these programs, laws, they need to be tangible. They need to be, people need to feel them. I don't know if that makes sense. It needs to make sense up to the last level, up to the last person, So we've come up with a bracket program, PDM, to make sure there's inclusion, financial inclusion, so everyone will get their money, everyone will be. But have some people done transactions before? Have some people held money before?
No.
Because you and I, Madreen, we've gone for training,
Yeah.
and we understand, okay, this is 5,000, it can do this, the value of this. You've also made mistakes when you're trying to invest, but it takes you some trainings. At least nowadays there's lots of trainings that you've had an opportunity to, but those people have not had an opportunity to. In the IT technology space, where are the women? Why is it that the person who's planting matoke, who's having fish in Kome, because most people are doing fish and mukina and silverware, then there's no space that they're using online. So all that is what the Women's Day should mean to any woman. What are the how personal are the policies that they're passing for women to me? This new curriculum that they're talking about, how is it benefiting me? Is it making sense anyway? So we need to give meaningful leadership that is not theoretical. I told you theory
and practice
is different from the practicals.
Yeah.
So you'll get there on ground. The person
things are
they've
totally
told us
different.
that the money is ours. No, you don't even. Then the person will get it. They say it's not for paying back, because there's so many projects that have happened. There's the UWEP money that has been there for the women. There's a yoga money. Why are we still
poor?
Why?
Yeah.
Madreen, you cannot expect different results by doing the same thing
over and over again.
Never.
And you don't know the basics or the underlying problems.
You don't know the basics.
Yes.
Never. So there is a detachment. The reality is different from
the practice or the practical on ground.
from the formulation. Because they would say, oh, we've brought grow money. It's supposed to be for women who are in business. But are you sure women in Mukono or women in Kampala actually own land titles to go and give as collateral in the banks? Are you sure that their husband will be able to give them that land title to go and get that money? Because you don't walk to a bank without giving them security. And yet as government, you're doing the right thing to channel the money through financial services. But that is everyone.
And you see, Honorable, you mentioned of, women having these land titles in their names. I've seen, people, couple, woman and man, but that the woman is putting in a lot of money, but then she can't even register or write this land that she's buying in her name.
That is the reality.
Of
Look
course.
at the case of Nabila, our own MP. That means that issue is right from the lower woman, even up to you. Tomorrow you're going to get married. I don't know whether if you're married.
I am.
You're married. You're going to have that issue.
Yeah.
First of all, you're even going to fear to have that conversation.
True.
Are we really empowered?
No.
And yet we have all these laws that should be able to protect us. And you stand up and say, there's a lot that we still need to do.
Yeah.
If at our level
it fails. So
fails.
What about,
What about the other woman?
Yeah, there's a lot that women, go through, yes. But strength of a woman, we shouldn't give up.
No, we shouldn't give up.
Yeah.
But let's leave no woman behind. As women leaders who have been given a platform, let's use these platforms to actually impact. Let there be impact.
Yeah.
Let us not get lost in all the other spaces. We get lost and we want to try and be men. But yet we can be men by fixing these other areas that they've given you an opportunity. Women are everywhere. Why aren't there women in the oil and gas sector? Why aren't there women?
We are still scared to go for these manual things.
Why aren't there women in the manufacturing sector? Why is it a male-dominated space? So you, as the head of, say, I think, Uganda Investment Authority, do something to attract women to come and invest. You'll be surprised that most people who are into capital markets and unit trusts and bonds and treasury bills, they are men.
They're men.
But when you tell women they are scared, or even the people who are supposed to tell us are also scared, they don't understand. Are we helping each other? Are we building each other?
No.
And yet the heads of those institutions, now we have female bankers who are heads of banks. What products are there for women that are not going to marginalize? And the reality is the gap, the poverty gap, the gap between the rich and the poor.
And the poor is
evident.
also too wide.
These are issues we need to really sort and deal with. Tomorrow your daughter will marry my son from Mukono. For us, we are poor. We need to bridge certain things.
We need to bridge the gap,
Yeah, we need to make sure there is a sort of a universal progress.
Universal ground and progress.
Yeah. For all Ugandans, because the country is for Ugandans and for us to enjoy. It doesn't make sense for us to stay in the same state. I am tired personally. I am tired of writing up to master's level. I'm still writing. The reason why Uganda is a third world country is because of poverty levels, literacy, corruption, bad governance. Honestly, from the time I started studying
up to now, you're still writing the same things.
It is the same. Why is Uganda still why aren't we not taking off? Why are projects not stagnating? Why are women still? You still write the same thing. Women are illiterate. Women are still in the kitchen. Women are not. They have no access to what is it called? Access to credit. But now they've put all these circles in yoga, grow money. But you're still giving that reason.
Still the same
something
thing.
is wrong. Something. Then you're saying women are probably not involved in leadership. They have opened up the space.
Spaces
but
are
I can
there.
tell you the reasons are going to still be the same. I don't know. When I was doing my dissertation, I'm still in the process of doing the dissertation, and of course my topic is poverty. My supervisor told me, "You think you're going to be the one to solve the poverty question when everyone has failed?"
We are
I said,
waiting to
"Doctor,
see.
have you given up? Have you given up on solving the question of poverty?"
Yeah.
But yet, every day at the Faculty of Economics, that's where I'm doing my program, they are writing papers every day.
Every day.
Every day.
What are these research papers for?
I want the practical bit. I want us to move from that and then make it applied. Let us have applied development. Let us have applied growth. Let's not just keep it in words. For me, the words, actually, I want to be an action leader. I want to be a doer. I want to be a doer. The ripple effect of that is great. It's physical, it's tangible, you feel it. It's amazing. And you will see transformation. So when you inspire youth, they'll get inspired. And then, actually, in my year of Rotary, when I was a leader, Rotary has themes every year. So the theme of my year was be the inspiration. So all these are things that have kept me or have brought me to the forefront of leadership. Come and be the inspiration. Come and give and do what you can. And there are some professionals who, they are professionals. Honestly, they are professionals, but you cannot use your profession
to do something.
Change.
Yes.
No.
And
the
honorable, you talk about young people. The biggest percentage of Ugandans are young people. What opportunities do you think should be created for these young people to develop their skills, talent, and of course, growing themselves?
Young people they need to be mentored. We need a lot of mentorship for young people. We need to open up spaces in different fields for the young people to come and engage and learn from the adults. I don't like this scenario where old people are having 5 positions. Why?
Yet we have the biggest numbers around.
So there is no space. You're creating no space of space of movement, mobility for people to fill up those spaces. Then of course we need to come down and narrow down and have programs and plans specifically that speak to the young people. Not to amalgate them and incorporate them in the bigger picture, where they say, no, now we have done PDM, so 30% will be for the women, then another 30% for the disabled, then now the rest come and fall there. No. The youth livelihood programs were good. They were for the youth. What made it fail? Let us go back and have an evaluation, because I think it's still running. But let's have an evaluation and focus on that, injecting more money so that the youth are trained. There should be so many skilling centers all over the country, because the question of unemployment is because the youth don't have the skills. The youth don't have the skills. That's the truth. Then of course, as mothers, we need to do proper parenting, because it starts from home. The basics of transformation it starts from home. So we need to empower women to be able to empower their children, and then do strategic plans and programs that are targeting the youth, addressing the issue. Their issue is unemployment. Why are they unemployed? They lack skills. Then let's add in more money in the education sector to address such and such an issue. But you have to be able to do a real thorough needs assessment and feasibility study, not just having because Uganda has become so political. So because we are going into an election period, we have to come up with something. We have to come up with that pressure of just wanting to come up with something to please
people.
but when it comes, it fails to be applicable. So it's the other issue I say. We need to have applied growth, applied development, something that is be applicable.
And still about the young people.
And get the young people registered. Let's have a database of registered young people. You can cluster these young people. If there are young people in areas where there's agriculture, then let's fine-tune that sector and make it attractive. Make it let's attract all the youth to come into the agricultural sector. Have the trainings for them. Let's let them understand the value chains of agriculture, and all of them will start identifying their strengths, where they're going to be able to place themselves in the value chain, other than coming and giving blanket statements. Oh, now there is coffee, now there is vanilla, now there is what? People don't understand. People don't. We need to make people understand what is development.
Yes.
What is financial management? You have to first know how to make money for you to even come to financial management.
True. So if it's not there, what will you manage?
What are you going to manage? If you're saying we want the population to be, the youth to be, to embrace technology, but then your data, your internet rates, and I don't know what are expensive for the youth. How are they going to go and start doing research and be innovative when
there's a lot of limitations?
There's a lot of limitations. These young people, I'm also a youth. I mean, we struggle. Data is expensive. Why doesn't the Ministry of ICT, Frank Twebas, they had come up with that program? Let internet be free in the city. That's what other cities do. What happened to that project? Now everything is being taxed. The young person is not going to fully engage. You're not giving them full access. No?
Because, we've seen many young people trying to start up. You're a business person, you're into business. We've seen young people trying to start up businesses, but then there's so much that, limits the success of
the taxes,
yes,
the bureaucracies, the requirements. The requirements are so many. It's discouraging. It's very discouraging because I want to believe if you want to have a country that is going to be developed, people need to be productive. If you want the youth to be productive, it needs to be conducive. The same conditions you're giving foreign investors to come and invest here. Free this, Smanya tax holidays, I don't know what.
Why
don't you extend the same? Charity begins at home. But these people can be monitored.
Yes.
Just have a database of young people, cluster them into whatever they want to do, production, manufacturing, agriculture, ICT, services, name it. It's a lot. Now we even have, because of ICT, we're able to do that. And you're able to monitor these things being done. But have we fully understood?
No.
We have not.
Yes.
So if you're giving them conditions, the same conditions as people who have been in business for so long, how are they going to be able to grow that business into something? Because now you're telling them from the word go, you need a trading license, you need there's trading license, you need a URA, it's a URA what?
Yes.
To start tracking their taxes. You need approval if there is going to be production. You need approval of the Uganda National Bureau of Standards. All that is money. But you've given them a startup capital of 1 million. They have to first fulfill these legal requirements. It's a lot. Yeah. Yet if there is a research institute, industrial research center here in Namave, it also falls under my jurisdiction, my constituencies, but it's underutilized. It's supposed to be an incubator where people come and start from there.
Oh.
Yeah. But see, people don't know.
Yeah. We
People
don't know
that. So the ones who know are the ones who are already well-to-do, who can afford their own spaces to start their production and their production.
I think there is a problem. They are focusing on.
There is
yes.
a problem. So there should be incubation centers, probably in every district, because this government can afford. It can afford. So once those incubation centers are there, they start training. That's where you start from as a young person. But how are we organizing this? Is the information there? Many times I think people who are supposed to do these things in government, of course, defending themselves. Even when I was also in the corporate world, you have to defend yourself every time you're asked such questions.
Yeah.
But people don't know these things. And the person will able to say, no, this information is there, but people don't want to. But it's not there. Disseminate it through the local government.
The channels people are able to, access. Yes.
And don't just give instruction to the local government and don't give it funding to actually be able to disseminate this information.
Wow.
So that is where the breakdown is. So you'll find that a young person has an idea, wants to execute this idea, they have no workshop, they have no space, they have no nothing, but you're telling them, I'll give you 1 million. Politicians, we like doing those things. Send them to the fire, probably give them a sigiri, let me now go basic, let me not go up. I see the chapati maker.
Chapati, yes.
The person is placed there, URA or KCCA or whatever, body comes and
they take everything, and then you're back to zero.
If you want to work from here, you have to make sure you pay a certain amount of money. The person has just started. Honestly, there's a lot of people are disillusioned now. People are disillusioned, and leaders need to understand the vision that they are going to sell to the people. If you don't have a vision, you're leading people into.
Yeah, so Honorable, we are learning a lot from Honorable here. And as we, draw to the end, how do you balance your life, personal life, politics, leadership, and of course, business?
It's not easy.
It's not easy, yes.
But anything in life, you have to be intentional. Anything, if you have a goal, you have an ambition, you need to be intentional on it. So definitely you have to have a program, you have to program yourself, you have to have a plan,
yes.
And in that whole plan you must juggle. I think you've seen the head of state, how he has been able to do it. He's a president, but he has time with his family, he has time for it. Of course you need helpers at the end of the day, but it's about being intentional and being a good planner. I'm lucky. One of my biggest strengths also is being a good planner and an organizer. So I'm able to organize my own life as much as I want to organize the rest of the community. So, and it's possible. In 24 hours, you can do so much. You can do so much, but we have so many distractions, and you find that people have. You have 4 hours in our 24 hours. You have 4 hours in traffic jam. Now I convert those hours into the shortest means of transport, which is border.
Okay.
You have cut down around. Yes, you've cut down 3. You've actually saved 3.5 hours to do other things. Actually, we need a transport system in this country. People literally spend 4 hours in traffic, depending on. Even if it's here and
you also mentioned border, but sometimes it comes and the jam has also caught up with the border people. So
when
you're all stuck.
Sometimes the traffic also in border.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. But the traffic of a border person is different from the traffic of someone in a car.
Yes.
It's very different. So it's about proper planning. It's about being intentional, knowing what your priorities are, what to place where, what the critical things are, what you can put aside on which day. It's about planning and being organized. So it's possible to balance this because you have children. The children go to school. So wake up at the time they're waking up, prepare the children. I actually do that on a daily basis. make sure you finish that part of the children. That's about 2 hours. Done. From taking the child, now get back to work. In between work, you have interviews like the civic space. Right now, I'm here. After the civic space, I will
There's
have
something
other
else.
engagements. Then I end up in the constituency. Then I
Yes.
come back home, ready for supper, dinner,
Wow.
have prayer time with the family, and have time to read. Because you need to read. You must know that at 9, you're going to watch news. At this time, you're going to... So it's about having a program, a plan, and being intentional. So I will know whether Madreen, you call me at 9, I will not pick, because I'm going to be watching
time
news.
for yes.
It's time for news. If you call me at 6:30 or 7, I'll be in church. I will not pick. I'll probably call you when I'm on a border in transit, or the hours I have saved in transport time. That's when I'll call you.
Wow.
Of course, also for the social life, you need social capital right now.
Yes.
My fellow youth, another thing that's going to help you,
Social capital.
build your social capital.
Very important.
That is going to add value to you. Also keep adding value to yourselves. Have interest in learning. Then of course, make sure you sniff opportunities. Keep sniffing opportunities. You know, when you keep people who add value around
To
you.
you.
These people will always tell you something that is coming up. I've been lucky, or I got that concept from the time I was young. It's important to know what friends you keep around. When you have friends that are credible, there's certain conversations you're going to have. There's certain influences they're going to have on you. The biggest issue with the youth and the women, because I think we are in the vulnerable category.
Yes.
We have sometimes, or most times, we have the wrong people around us. People who are not motivated, people who are not optimistic and positive, people who... We need to keep people around us who are inspiring. The conversations you have trigger you. They absolutely trigger you. Because you have a friend who... Madreen, there's a land deal. And you'll pick interest. Before you know it, you'll start asking questions like, how did you do it? You know that there's now an opportunity, and if NSSF has opened up this space, you pay this amount of money, it's going to be here. But people don't know these things. Even corporates don't know these things. Are you aware NSSF has certain products for a proper decent home?
No.
Or you want to go and buy a plot of land where the neighbor is going to build up to the road and you have nowhere to... So the kind of people you keep around, that's the kind of information you're going to have, that's the kind of exposure you're going to have. And
the opportunities
will be, your thinking will be different. And by the way, sometimes youth interest me. They think, oh, how you're going to make it is if someone gives you something in your hands. No.
And if they don't give you, that one has not helped you.
Sometimes being next to someone who has made it is capital enough. Because at a certain time, Team Madreen, I'll be there and I'll say, I don't know, someone will tell me of an opportunity. Madreen, there's something here.
She can
you
do
take
this?
it up?
Yes.
Because you have positioned yourself and availed yourself and to be open to interactions which are meaningful.
Wow.
Meaningful engagements.
Wow.
So we need to be intentional as young people to know where we spend our time, our spaces, our thoughts, and what content we consume.
Yeah.
Personally, me, I'm not an entertainer of... There are certain things really...
that you don't know.
They take up a lot of
Time.
brains. It takes up so much time. But let's be involved in things that are going to add a note in your pocket, that are going to add to your net worth. So we need more people who can mentor young people, who can teach. I learned these things informally. So our mothers need to also... That informal education was very helpful back in that day.
These days we don't have much time.
But we need to create time and have this informal...
But there are people who have, launched spaces to train, you know, these soft skills. Yes, we can also access them.
Now, people will not get that information if they are spending time on wanting to see what Alien Skin has done. I'm sorry.
Okay, Honorable. Finally, how do you envision Uganda? What would you want to see? 2026 is so close. What would you want to see, you know, change and in the line of leadership? And of course, share your experience or advise the young girl who wants to take on leadership.
Oof, my goodness. The advice I would give the young girl who wants to join leadership. But we need to first change the leadership space. The truth, the matter, the reality is that the leadership space is not attractive to the young people and the women. It's monetarized.
Yes.
There's a lot of money that is involved in this politics, which should
You
not
don't
be.
have.
Which should,
And it's
which
not
should
even
not
there.
Be. It, even if it is there,
Yes.
Madreen,
It should not be.
It should not be. Why should you trying to have ideas? Why should you trying to have a plan? Something you want to add into your community. Why should you pay
for it?
That is the biggest deal breaker in the political space. Money. I'm lucky I've come here for free to talk. Other media houses, you have to pay. You have to pay. And yet they need content. So the monetization, once it is out of the picture, it will be a space where it is a space for ideas, a space for discussions. It will be a think tank. Right now we don't have think tanks. We don't. It's about, have you seen me? I've government. Me, you know? No. It should be, it's a critical, leadership is a critical space where we are discussing issues that pertain people's lives. It's not a joke. But people don't understand the roles and responsibilities of leaders and even you who's electing them. We need civic education.
True.
We need a lot of civic education and trainings, capacity building trainings, train leaders. What are they going to say? In my area, there are people who just get the microphone. You people, you see me? Am I not beautiful? You know?
Will beauty, do something for the people? Yeah.
So while I want to attract people to come, and yes, I want to attract people to come, because there's no better way we're going to change the matters of our country, issues that we are experiencing, if there is no right leadership. And the only way we can know right leadership is through this continuous process of selection. And the opportunity is after 5 years when someone has not performed, let the people understand that there is no lifetime contract for you to keep that person who has not performed. Why? Why are they lying to you after 4 years because there's an election coming up? That is what the person is doing in my area. She has been absent, but because it's now a year to election, electioneering
now they're
time.
on ground.
Now they're giving out plates, they're giving out t-shirts, things that are not even, things that are not permanent. So we need to understand what is a role of a leader. Just like now we are beginning to understand the role of our taxes. People before never used to understand that it is the taxes that we give that are supposed to give us these public goods and services. So we did not even demand for accountability. Now we need accountability from leaders. So I call upon young people who are enthusiastic about seeing change, about seeing development, about seeing improvement in because every time we are looking for improvement, America is looking for improvement. They have to vote in Trump. And indeed, today I heard him saying he is going to cancel the green card. But for us in Uganda, year in, year out, the same leaders are telling us lies. Why? So, therefore, young people come. These spaces are for free. We're supposed to occupy them. We're supposed to participate. These are participatory spaces where we need people who are going to participate. As long as you qualify, the criteria is there, and it's very basic. Maybe the only thing I have to say is the fees. The fees are too. The fees are it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Now, for you, if you want to come and contest, it's going to be, I think it's 3 million.
Oh.
That's a lot of money for you to want to come and participate in a space like that. That means you are eliminating certain people from taking up those spaces. Why should someone pay 3 million and then go through that whole hassle? Everyone is asking you for money. Everyone, that monetarization for me is not, should be looked into greatly. That has been my experience, but also a recommendation that we should look at it deeply and come up with a solution, but also calling upon the young people to come. Let's bang the tables, you people. This is not business as usual. It's business unusual. The things that are happening now, they're not normal. As a country, as Ugandans, as youth, as women, let's stop taking in mediocrity. Let's stop it. Why are we having a standard gauge railway that is outdated, yet our neighbors are having upgraded things? Why should it feel like whatever is happening, they're doing us a favor? No, you're paying a price for that. So take up this question of leadership as it's actually a do or die. So you put in someone who's not going to add anything to you. That's the result you're going to get.
That's the result you'll get, yes.
You'll get nothing. Because leadership is negotiation. Leadership is advocacy. It's advocating. You're advocating.
For change.
So if I'm a woman, I'm advocating for women. So we need serious people to come into this space. People are going to think. We need to think of how we are going to come out of whatever we are in as Ugandans.
Wow.
We need to come out of this. We are in slumberland, Ugandans. We are in slumberland. We are in slumberland. It is not normal for us to wake up and they said, oh, we have changed the curriculum, my friend. Have the teachers been trained? Where have they been trained anyway? Have you seen any signs of teachers being trained? But in Uganda, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
No, there are systems and processes through which things happen.
Senior 5 are starting, is it Monday? But the A-level curriculum is not yet. They are not yet sure if they are going to implement it.
If you're identifying these things, we need to rise up. Rise up, rise up. Let every Ugandan know their role. There is a role that everyone has to play. It is not only for the politicians.
Yes. It also goes back to you.
It goes back to you. You who is in office, these people who are the ones who type our policies. You also have a role to play.
Yes.
The accountant or the people who pass the contracts, why are you issuing a certificate of completion, and before we know it, the dam that has just been constructed is Simba Dam, you remember? Immediately it gets... Come on! So for you as a technical person, what is your role? So everybody has a role
to
the
play.
Technical people, the voters, the leaders, the politicians, the Christians. Christians and church leaders, cultural leaders. Everybody has a role. You people, Uganda cannot be like this. It's a construction site right now. It is crazy. You don't know what is happening. Projects take forever. I have never seen a project in Uganda. I have never seen a project in Uganda that ends in time. Never. And now we're beginning to accept such as normal. It is not normal. You went to school and did project management, and projects are supposed to take a certain project time.
Period.
But you are there in that office and you're seeing things, and it is normal.
So it all goes back to you, an individual who is watching us. Wow. It has been a very, very beautiful conversation with Honorable Sheilah. Yes, thank you so much, Honorable, for coming through.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very, very much for giving us this time and, speak to our people. I hope you have, picked something from this conversation. And finally, your last remarks and, to your people, then we close it.
Last remarks. Ugandans, we need to be patriotic. Let's put our country first, know what we need to do. That's when we're going to change the narrative. That's when we're going to change the status quo. This is not normal. 2, let's be aware. It's an election period, but we need to be aware of who we are, of the leaders that we're going to select. We need to really do a screening. We need to do screening, due diligence, I don't know what. Because the people you're sending, they are the ones that make the verdict about your life, your health, your transport, your investments, your taxes. These are people who are going to handle your taxes, make decisions for you, on behalf of you, using your taxes. These are not people that you're just going to look at and just send and also get detached from the process. Many Ugandans have heard they're tired of voting. But this is a process that is the most important in your life.
Yes.
That is going to determine what drugs are in that hospital
You're going to take tomorrow.
You know? So this is a process that I want Ugandans to engage in. Let's be patriotic. Being patriotic means getting involved in things that matter, that are pertinent to this country. Lastly, people of Mukono, I am here. The game changer is here. The action lady is here. The one who is going to be passionate and practical about the change that we much so desire in our district. The one who's going to speak for you, who's going to voice the issues, and who's going to be concerned about, making sure you are part of the national cake, and it must be gotten. Yes, so I want to be your candidate of choice, and I just want to ask for an opportunity to be elected come 2026 as the Woman Member of Parliament, Mukono District. And God bless Uganda. Let's pray for our country. Usually election time is ugly.
Yeah.
Many people die. Many youth die. Youth, I want you to be careful as you engage in this politics. Your life matters.
Yes.
Your life matters, and to transform this country, we need numbers. We need people who are alive. So as we're engaging in this, let us be mindful of our security, of our lives. And I also want to call upon Ugandans, let's work. I know the conditions are hard, the conditions are harsh, but let's push ourselves, let's push the boundaries, let's push ourselves and see to it that we are productive, seek for information, be intentional about your own personal growth, and then it can be able to trickle down to other areas. So I want to also encourage mothers and women. The burden, the load is heavy, but we are meant for this. We are cut out for this. You can do it. You can educate your child. Let's not look at these roles as burdens, because when we stop looking at our responsibilities and roles as burdens, then we shall be able to move forward. And I'll end by singing or narrating our anthem as women, mothers, daughters, all women everywhere. Stand up and embrace your roles today.
Wow.
And as mothers of this nation, we are the biggest percentage in this country. Let's go out and change this country into what we want it to be. And we women leaders, let us be impactful. Let us really execute that they've sent us to do. We still have a long way to transform our lives. I thank you for this opportunity, Civic Space. Thank you so much. I've seen so many young people into the production and the interviewing. It's really encouraging, and God bless you.
Wow. Honorable has wrapped it up very, very, very well. I cannot add anything to that. She has spoken to all of us. All of us are inclusive in this communication. Thank you so much to our viewers. If you are watching us for the very first time, please subscribe to our channel. You can support this show by sharing the link to your friends and family so that, more people come and watch, and of course get to learn from the guests that we host here. Learning never ends, and through storytelling, there is a lot to pick from. Thank you so much to the people behind the cameras. I've been your host, Madreen. See you next week. Bye.